The Art of Dailiness, Michael Bierut. In the wake of 9/11, I began drawing every day inspired by a photo in the New York Times. Like a lot of people, as a New Yorker particularly, I felt deeply disoriented. It was a chaotic time and I wanted to engage with current events, but on my own terms, in a meditative way. I didn't realize that consciously in the moment, I just thought that drawing was nice and that it would be nice to have an excuse to draw every day. And also, doing it daily would take the pressure off. Maybe you screw it up one and the next you draw something pleasing. That seems appealing to me. I began my daily drawings on January 1st. My rule was simple. I would get that day's paper and choose a picture, something I thought that was funny or interesting or provocative or something I just wanted to look at longer than anything else in the paper that day, and use that as my source of material. It might be a politician making a speech or a photograph from a conflict zone, something that inspired me regularly. And I would spend 3 hours on it. Other days I would say I wouldn't take another breath until I finished. I gave myself permission for both of those responses to be equally valid. The practice had less to do with the output and getting myself a proper frame of mind for the rest of the day. It was a ritual I continued throughout the entire calendar year. This was before the omnipresence of social media, and it wouldn't have occurred to me to share these images with anyone. It was just something that I was doing privately. However, at that time, I was teaching graduate students in graphic design program at Yale, and the director of the program somehow learned about this project and suggested I assign something like it to my students. The idea of the class undertaking something together, but picking their own subject matter instead of doing the same thing, appealed to me immediately. The question then was, for what duration? I looked at the calendar and I saw I was scheduled to teach two classes that year, one in the fall semester and one in the spring semester, and they happened to be exactly 100 days apart. It was a coincidence, but it felt meaningful, the way a year had felt meaningful with my own project. It was almost as if that round number was telling me exactly what to do. I typed the 100-day project, capitalizing every word to make it feel as if it was official. Then I wrote a simple prompt, very unstructured and open ended. Starting tomorrow, do one creative act that you can repeat for 100 days. For the next 5 years, I assigned on the first day of class, as the students meditated on what their project might be, I would go around and talk to them and give them feedback on the practicality of their ideas. For example, a student might say they want to take a picture at the same street corner near the campus every day, which would prompt me to ask them, are you going away for the holidays? They answered, yeah, to Phoenix to see my parents. So I tell them to figure out something more portable, something that would also work in Phoenix. In time, I came to see that there was a sweet spot and open endedness. There needed to be some constraints, but it was also important so they could make a choice, however small. But even then, when they came to me on day 22, and they said they never wanted to do a particular creative act again, make resistance the thing and see how that works. Mainly, I tried to encourage my students to do the thing that they wanted, and I was amazed again and again by what they came up with. One student took a well known poster from the 1950s and made a visual variation of it every day. There was one young woman whose preacher grandfather always gave the same very long sermon about heaven and hell and spent 15 minutes every morning memorizing it. And at the end of the 100 days, she delivered the sermon from memory in front of the class. With something like the 100-day project, there's no right way to do it and there's no wrong way to do it. The reason this project works is the reason anything like this works. You can do it on your own terms, in your own way, and it has nothing to do with the expertise. The old saying is the only way out is through. You somehow have to work your way through the whole thing, even if you hate 95% of the things that you did. If you made it to 100 days, congratulations. That's amazing in and of itself. Of course, not everyone makes it to the end, and that's okay too. Students dropped off quickly, some at 2 weeks, others after a month. Once people got about halfway, they had so much personal investment they had internalized the process enough that there was a good chance they'd actually make it to the end. I'm always amused that when I get credit for coming up with the 100-day project because part of what makes it interesting is that there's nothing original about it. It's what we all do every day. We do routine things, we do things that require acts of imagination. This is your prompt. Write about a time when you began doing something daily, be it creative endeavor, a new course of study, or a form of exercise. What prompted you to start it? What obstacles got in your way? And when you felt resistance or missed a day, what called you back? Now reflect on what you gained from it and how you might apply that knowledge to a new daily creative practice.